All right, we're going to do how to log this stuff in Epic. So if we're looking at Anthony's route, which I know is a little bit difficult to see, I apologize. This is a route. So let's say we're going to go into a lead and we just did a walk-in. Okay, so we all know how to do that. Upper left-hand corner, we're going to do our walk-in.
Copy and paste, like do all the things.
Well, yeah, we're going to do all the things. So he's just copying the business name, right? So he doesn't have to like type it out. I like it though. So we're going to the walk-in. Our subject should be the time and then the business name. Then in the box, we're going to add what happened. So we talked to Joe about his daughter who's leaving for college, and we talked about that he's a super big blues fan and blah, 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 blah. Why would it be important for me to put those details into my walk-in data for when I come back? So I can pick up the conversation just like it was yesterday, right? Because sometimes it's a couple weeks and after you've been doing walk-ins for weeks and weeks and weeks, you can't remember all the things, right? Okay, so then I'm gonna hit more and I'm gonna decide, is this my first walk-in? Yes or no. Am I virtual? Yes or no. What does it mean if I'm doing virtual? That would be a phone call, right? The door is locked or they ask me to call before I follow up. As long as I talk to somebody, I can log it as a walk-in, but I need to mark that it was virtual because I didn't see them in person. My body wasn't in front of their body. Okay. And we always have to mark 20%. Even if the decision maker is the gatekeeper, we still have to mark 20% for it to log at all. So if I spoke to a person, I'm going to log 20%. If you're only putting in information because you called and no one answered or you just got a voicemail, then you can log it without it being 20% because you didn't talk to a person. It will still log in the journal. It just won't log as a credit for a walk-in because you didn't talk to a person, right? Okay. So we're going to do 2040 and then we're going to book an appointment. Now, tricky part for an appointment is I have to put that at the top where it says my appointment / follow-up activity, select activity, and I have to select my date. If I just choose 60%, and I don't choose a date and a time, it does not log correctly in Epic, right, everybody? Okay, so that step has to be marked correctly whenever I'm logging my appointments, okay? So whatever the date's gonna be, I have my follow-up appointment, my follow-up time. If it's a follow-up, a hot follow-up, it's a month or whatever, right? Okay, so then I get ready and I'm gonna be ready to hit save in the right-hand corner. We're not gonna do that though, because you already have some, okay? All right. Let's do that again, only this time Anthony has his agent with him. Okay, so Anthony and Kelly are in the field. So we're going to do the same business, same walk-in. Subject line is still the same. Details in the box are still going to be the same unless I want to specify I was with Kelly. Because if it's Anthony's lead, he needs to remember that he was there with Kelly. Because again, we're picking up that conversation as if we had just been there last week. So I might want to notate that Kelly brought up the fact that his daughter's leaving for college, but she's going to be a music major. Okay. And so, like, then, oh, yeah, because my colleague was with me last time. We talked about your daughter's going to major in music education. That's really cool. She was in color guard whenever she was in high school, blah, 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 whatever. Okay. Then I get down to my percentages. Okay. If there's two people in the car, you have to identify who is the trainer and who is the trainee. So Kelly is obviously the new agent. Kelly is the trainee. Anthony is the trainer. It does not matter whose lead it is. Doesn't matter if it's Anthony's lead or Kelly's lead. If Kelly did the gatekeeper and asked for the decision maker to come out, but then Anthony took over to actually book the appointment, 20% is going to be marked as what? Plain or trainer assisted?
Because you said
Kelly did the gatekeeper script, and then Anthony took over for the decision maker to book the appointment. So the 20% would be just the 20% gatekeeper because Kelly did that. And then it would be 40% trainer assisted because Anthony's the trainer and he assisted her to do it. Does that make sense? And then we would do the same thing for the 60 because he's the one who booked the appointment. Is it possible for it to be, hi, Tommy. Is it possible for it to be 20% trainee, regular, 40% trainer assisted, and then 80% presentation where the trainee did the presentation. Could that possibly happen? Yes. Well, that's depending on like if we're getting close to being field certified, right? Hey, you did the majority of the presentation. I'm going to give you credit for that presentation that you just did, right?
Yeah.
Because we're giving them that training dashboard.
Yeah, same.
Okay. So you can market 20% regular trainees doing it, 40% trainer assisted, and then whatever it needs to be. It doesn't have to be all the same. Okay. All right, cool. Don't forget to put the date and the time in for that appointment. All right. Okay. So let's say we've already logged that. Now we have to know how to put that into our layers for our routes, right? Because what we're looking for in our routes is to show our hot follow-ups, our warm follow-ups, our enrollments, our appointments. Okay. So I'm actually going to switch back over if you want to plug that one in. Thank you for letting us use your phone. Does anybody have any questions on how to log in Epic? Very good. Jesse, you're good. I'm sure you don't have your camera on, but I'm sure you're good, right, girlfriend? Awesome sauce. I like it. Avery, you're good on how to log it? Perfect. Okay. That one so that we can project up here. Okay. So now I'm going to share my screen and we're going to pull up some routes so we can build a route. Okay. So everybody, can you guys see my screen now? Rock stars. Okay. So bear with me here because again, as an AD logged in, I'm going to have more stuff on my thing. But when you're in building your routes, remember we start with our start and end location. If it's your home, that's fantastic. If you're spending the night at somebody's house, then that's fine. Hey, if you are meeting up someplace, then you have to have that in there someplace. Okay. So you're going to add those to your route. Then the next thing that you're going to do, what comes next in my layers that I'm going to be adding? What should I add first? Enrollments. You got it. Enrollments. Okay. Now this can be tricky, especially if you're enrolling someplace that doesn't belong to you, right? So like if your AD told you that you're going to be going to a house account enrollment, but you don't own that account, it may not show up in your Epic for you to add to your layers, right? Because you don't own that. So just keep that in mind. You can add something in your time block there. You can add the location as just a business and do that time block. So enrollments are first. Do you want to take over or do you want me to just, okay. It's okay.
What? We use the dates.
Oh.
Today's my day. All right. I made it. All right. Just completely flaked out. All right. We are on what layers? We just did enrollment layer. So we walked all the way through all of our layers. We're building our route.
Yeah, all I did was show them, we reminded everybody how to log it properly in Epic.
Okay, perfect.
Going to take from there into how to create a route.
Absolutely. So, in creating our routes, we want to keep in mind we're doing them on Fridays, right? So that we can build with what we have there. And it tells us when we do it that way, we use all our new and our follow-ups, and that'll tell us what holes we have that we need to fill for PAT calls, right? So we haven't started building a route yet. Okay, let's start doing that. What do we start with when we build a route? Anybody? Your home address, right? You always want to add your home address as your first stop. I'm going to use Diana's here. And we can go over here to the 3 dots. It's always going to be underneath your personal saved layers. If you don't have it yet, all you have to do is enter your address up here. It will show up as a pin. And then you can tap on the pin and it gives you the choice to add it to your saved layers. And then from then on, it's always going to be there. And then when you go to make a route, all you have to do is go in, click on those 3 dots, add it to the route. It'll do it one time. You'll notice right down here, you've got one, but we need a start and a stop. So we're going to do add to route again. And now we've got both our start and stop in there, and anything else that we add from here on out will fit in between those two. If you do it at the end of making your route or in the middle of making your route, you'll then have to move the start and stop to where you need them instead of them automatically happening. So you want to try to do that in the beginning, if you can remember that. We're going to start with the thing it's the least movable, right? Which is our enrollments. So I don't know if she has any enrollments on here. We'll see if there's one under worksite. So we're under worksite enrollments. We're going to do enrollments this month and let it load. And it should pop up a whole bunch. That's a big cluster, right? So how do we sort through that? Is we go down here to our legend. We click on it and it tells us what all the different pins are and how many of them are next to each one. So we'll just assume she's got an annual booked and we'll hide the rest. Okay, so we're gonna tap on it to hide it off your map. Doesn't take it away, just don't see it on the map. All right, so now we can then look at the ones that we've got going on. And let's just pick one and we'll add that to our route. Keeping track over here with the numbers counting, like how many you have in your route. Let's see. So as we're starting to build that route, what do we want to keep in mind with our enrollments is how many people that we're seeing. Say there's 4 people. Each person takes approximately 15 minutes. So this enrollment should take us an hour. Let's see if it's got a time set to it. That's for home. Click. Okay. So we're going to just keep that in mind as we go forward. That of our whole day, which you should have always start with your 10 blocks, putting in how many hours that you're working that day. When are you starting? When are you stopping? That'll calculate the hours. So now you can just basically factor out one of those hours because you're going to be enrolling on that hour. And then we're going to go back into our folder. And we're going to pull up the next most important thing is our appointments. See if we have any appointments around where we're prospecting. We didn't have any. All right, so we got appointments. Now we're going to go into our follow-ups. Huh? Oh, okay. All right, did it not load? There we go. No follow-ups that we need to worry about. How about any hot or warm follow-ups? We're just going to keep working our way through. And you can see we've got a bunch of follow-ups that populated. It'll populate for the whole year. These are the ones that you select by month. Again, we're going to go back to our legend. And we're going to look at those and see which ones we want to deal with. We're in October right now, so I'm going to hide all the other months except October. Okay. I also want to see what hot follow-ups I have that I need to go to. Not too good at the clicky thing here. All right. So let's just add, we'll add a hot follow-up in there. And where did all of them go? What happened? They're there. Right. I didn't wait for you. All right, and then now I'm gonna hide the hot follow-ups. And we're gonna see what we have in October. We're gonna add that one to the route. Okay. So at this point, we've got all the, hey guys, we're training. So we're adding, we've got all our follow-ups, all our appointments, all the things that we have scheduled. So now we need to go in and make what's left of our route. So we've got 5 things, 5 stops scheduled on a route. Let's subtract 2 for our start and stop. And now we want to load our leads. So let's first go into our qualified leads. There's going to be a bunch. And we're going to zoom in. I'm going to change my view here. Yeah, remember that trick Bourbon taught us? Where we are looking just in, let me hide these real quick first so I can see it better. You're good. Was late too.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see your message.
Oh, that's okay. All right. So let's oops, to move our faces here. Let's make a route. We'll do a shape. I like the freeform tool. So remember, you just click and drag. I'm just going to drag a big area. Okay. I'm going to make a complete shape. And then I'm going to go over here. And I'm going to go back on here and change it to map view, to shape view. So it should just show inside the shape. Should. Okay, so now I'm going to go back in. I'm going to unhide. I first want to, so our split to go out in the route, it should be 60-40, 60% new, 40% follow-up. I need a pen. Somebody else want to do the math? We've got, how many do we want? How many stops do we want in a day?
30.
So let's say 25, right? And we've already figured, so we figure that 4 stops is equivalent to 1 hour. So we're going to subtract 4 because we have an enrollment. So that's 21. We've got an appointment. That's going to be a presentation. That's another hour. So subtract another 4. What are we at? 17? Is that right? I'm recording my bad math. And then we've got a follow-up to go to. So let's say we need 16 leads added to our route. So we're going to take first, we're going to add the follow-ups. What's 60% of 16? Somebody do that for me. 60% of 16. Anybody? It would be 8, maybe 9.
What is it? 10 is 1, like 6 times 6 is
Let's-
6. 3, 9.
We're doing 9. Okay. 9 or 10. It doesn't have to be exact. That 60-40 split is what we want for the whole week. Okay. But we're just going to use an example and build our route that way today. If you're in a place where you have a lot of follow-ups, that's fine. So we need at least 10 new leads or 9 new leads on here. So I can kind of see where I'm at, and it's added all back in here. So must have done something wrong for it to be on I'm on shape view, but it's showing me everything. So maybe I have to do shape view before I pull the leads. My computer, here we go. Hold on. So I'm going to just go through here. I'm going to select 10. So we'll just do add to route. You can do it pin by pin. If I had less of them in there, I could just do everything in the shape. Make sure you only click add to route once, because it will add the same stop to your route twice, which is part of what you're going to do when you start go in and inspect your own routes to start with. Little zoom boxes all over the place. I can't see. Jeez. Can't see this. Okay. Two more. All right. And then that means, so now we have all our new stops in there. So we can go back in, hide our new, fill it in with our pinks. And I'm not going to go in and fill in all these. You guys get the idea. Let's just say we only have a few. We need more news. I'm going to show you what to do, because most of you aren't going to have this many stops on your map when you pull up your leads. So let's just say you didn't have enough new leads and you had plenty of follow-ups, you just needed some more new ones. You would go back into your folder, and underneath qualified leads, you're going to load up your Sales Genie leads. Okay. So the idea behind that is it will load Sales Genie leads where in your route area. So you can pick from those to add to your route, or you can just pick from those to make a list for your pack calls. I would recommend that if you needed 5 new leads, that you would at least write down 10 of the orange leads that are their Sales Genie leads. They need to be called, but that way they're in that area where you'll be prospecting. Okay. All right. And that's it for putting the route together. Any questions? Y'all are experts. Any questions? No? Okay. And then we all know how to save our routes. Right? Yeah. If you guys do it that way? Okay. You are very quiet. No questions?
Lori says she's got it.
Okay.
So what I need to hear.
We didn't add any.
Anthony, you got it? Bill,
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
So it's like, you don't have any questions? Awesome.
We're good. Okay. It's that easy, right? So that's right there at the end of that, you know how many pack calls you need to make. You've got your routes already done on Friday. When you make your pack calls on Monday, all you have to do is go back in, pull up the newly qualified ones in that area, and then add them right to your route. So at first, when you're new, you're doing those, trying to get 30 pack calls every week, right? It seems like a lot. But now you can see by doing it this way, you're gonna see how that over time is gonna slow down a little bit. We just want you to have a bunch banked.
5:30 a day.
30 a day, no? Yeah. Were you doing 30 a day? Okay,
I did.
you should have them banked. Yep, absolutely. All right, guys, that's everything. Any questions? That's everything that we've got covered.
Hey, Terry, I have a question.
Yeah,
So, whenever you want us to like put enrollments on there for ones that aren't our own account, like the one next week, right, at Economy Products, I'm gonna go with you.
so
But
just just basically go up here in this area, right? And let me just show you, like, we would just go economy, products, and that would be Macon. Okay, and there it is. And it's gonna drop that pin.
okay,
You can just add it to your route.
just put the location on there so it doesn't have to be the
Right, because you're
actual
not checking
enrollment.
in, if you're just going along, it's a space holder on your route.
Right. Okay.
But now the one thing you can do just so you make your route nice, right, is it's gonna automatically allot a certain amount of time for an appointment. It's gonna automatically, or a presentation, it's gonna automatically allot a certain amount of time per walk-in. But if you wanna, let me see if I can find where that last one went. Did I add it? I did add it to the route, didn't I? Hold on, let me find it on here. I just want to show. There it is. So in here, remember I said like we had the one that say it's going to take an hour, right? This is where you adjust it right there in your route. Do you see that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Christy, Lori, do you guys see that? Do you already do that with when you add an enrollment to your route for the day? Go in and adjust it and put the times in there to how long it's going to be. So we said take an hour. So then it's going to adjust that where it needs to be. And it says, no, you can't do it. You don't have enough time. So I would have to change it. So nope, I'm going to work from 1:45 a.m. I got this.
5 before 8. Let's go.
5 hours before 8. Is that what they meant? Right. Okay. Any other questions when we're making our route, trying to make everything fit? And so it's a nice little, because at the end of the day, what you really want, like your route should be exactly what you're doing in a day. It should be such a close reflection that when you say, okay, I've planned it out. Now I'm going to put it on my 10 blocks. I'm leaving my house at this time. I'm done at this time. You should be pretty close. You should be pretty close. I know I was thinking whenever I first started doing this, we were making routes and I was like, oh yeah, they always say that we're done super early and we're not ever done that early. Guess what? We're pretty close. If your route's showing you that you're done pretty early, you're probably going to be done pretty early. Okay. So that's when you want to make sure you beef it up a little bit, right? So if our goal is to have for sure 25 walk-ins done in a day, we want 30 in the route, all right? Just to pad it. Okay. Anything else? Christy, did you get a chance to look over that sheet I gave you on like the 10 blocks? Just the key. I gave you the key.
For the 10 blocks, as far as where to find the information.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then look at it after that day. No.
No, okay. All right. I think Derek's gonna go over some of that, but I've also got Christy asked me to make a key, and I went to go make a key, and my team knows that I then handed out 6 pages. So yeah, but it's just a lot of words, but also where you can go. It's just,
Steps.
yes, very step by step by step.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you miss a step and you're like, where am I?
Mm-hmm. Yep. So I will try to make sure that your ADs have that.
Holding on to that, so that if I missed a step,
Yeah.
we'll know that I-
But it kind of will lay out there like on Friday, what do I need to do? Like, how do I walk through this, starting with what do I fill out on my 10 blocks that can then lead me to know what I need to do for my route, that can then lead me to know what I need to do to fill out on my 10 block, right? Okay. All right, well, I'm gonna call it done. I'm gonna hit, so you guys are gonna stay on for the 2 o'clock. We can just kind of, I guess we'll just leave it up. It'll just be here. Y'all can walk around and do your thing. And then I'm gonna try to figure out how to stop recording.
Should be the thought of,
Like you know how to do that?
Lori.
Let's say I don't see anything. Okay. Well, I stopped the share, but I thought she was, wait, here we go. Let's say pause recording. I got it. Okay, stop.